Imagine a world where you are free from all mental and physical limitations, where you are in charge of your own life, and where the secrets of the universe open up in front of you like a flower in full bloom. This isn't a far-off utopia. It's a state of being that we can all reach. It's called spiritual awakening, a life-changing journey that goes beyond our body and ego. Awakening to one's spiritual self and one's link to the rest of the world is known as spiritual awakening. It's like a door that, when opened, shows a whole new view of reality that was there all along but couldn't be seen. Carl Jung, a famous Swiss therapist, once said, "Those who look outside dream, those who look inside awake." The cause: dissatisfaction. Have you ever been persistently unhappy, like there is still something missing even though you seemingly accomplished everything you set out to do? This widespread feeling of unhappiness is not an outlier. It is a deeply felt human experience that everyone shares. Like a puzzle where a key piece is missing, you see the whole picture, but for some reason it feels unfinished and makes you want more. A high-level job that makes you unhappy and wanting more. A perfect relationship that doesn't seem to be enough to please your soul, or an opulent lifestyle that doesn't bring you the happiness and fulfillment you were hoping for, are just a few examples of how this unhappiness frequently shows itself. And it's this feeling that won't go away that makes you question and look for something beyond the boring and selfish life you live. Think about the story of Siddhartha Gautama, who was rich but unhappy, so he left his castle to find the truth. Think about Eckhart Tolle, who was deeply depressed before he went through a spiritual awakening that changed him on the inside. These stories show that being unhappy can be the spark that leads to spiritual awakening. Being unhappy forces us out of our comfort zone and makes us look for greater meaning. It's what makes us think about the nature of our life and the reality of what we think we know. It's the spark that starts the spiritual awakening fire and leads us to the road of awakened consciousness. Ibn Rushd, a Persian artist who lived in the 1300s, said, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." Discontent is our spiritual journey's wound, asking and seeking. The shift from a state of dissatisfaction to a state of spiritual awakening is marked by a period of asking and seeking. The awareness that wealth, fame, and material things are not fulfilling our deepest desires leads to this time of life. An echo in our heads tells us to ask the most important questions. What is my purpose? What do I really believe in? Is there something more to life? These aren't just intellectual questions. They're soul-stirring ones that point us in the direction of spiritual bliss. When we think about things and ask questions, we see the world in a new and interesting way. It used to seem like materialism was the most important thing, but it slowly loses its hold and goes away. As the shine of money and fame starts to wear off, a deep desire to understand life better takes its place. And seeing what's below the water's surface instead of just enjoying its beauty on the top is like this change. This is similar to how the ocean's true beauty lies below the surface. The spirit of life is also beyond material things, ready to be found and welcomed with open arms. An important part of spiritual awakening is moving from focusing on material things to looking for greater meaning. It's an inner trip where you rethink and reconnect yourself with basic human ideals like love, kindness, and respect. The 14th Dalai Lama said it best. The goal is not to be better than the other man, but your previous self. This change is not about giving up material things. It's about realizing that they are temporary and looking for something deeper, more permanent, and more fulfilling, the essence of life. By asking questions and looking for answers, we start down the road that leads to awakened consciousness. In this state, the surface of life falls away and the true meaning of life becomes clear. The awakening or enlightenment. The process of enlightenment, also known as spiritual awakening, fundamentally changes how we perceive reality and expands our consciousness. Picture yourself in a room with low lighting and someone slowly turns up the light. At first, You can't see anything. But as the light gets brighter, you can make out shapes and then a mix of colors. Eventually, you can see everything in the room clearly. This picture does a great job of describing the deep and moving process of spiritual awakening. Our views change dramatically as we continue to work through the awakening process. Beyond the world of the real, the material, and the temporary, we start to see. We start to understand how the human experience is the same for everyone, how all living things are linked, and how life itself is circular. The structure of our reality changes in a big way, showing us the subtleties we had been missing while we were obsessed with getting things. We start to fully accept spiritual values that are in line with the deep nature of reality as we go on this life-changing and educational trip. As the wise Buddha once said, 3 things cannot be hidden for long: the shining sun, the calm moon, and the eternal truth. As our consciousness wakes, we gradually come to understand and accept the deep truth about our existence. This helps us grow and reflect values like limitless love, unshakable kindness, deep thanks, and deep humility. As we move toward a reality that is perfectly balanced, incredibly peaceful, and in tune with the vast cosmic music, these deeply held values shine like a bright beacon. In its core, the awakening is not about giving up on the world. Rather, it's about accepting a deeper and wider view of it. Realizing that we are not different things fighting the world, but rather an important part of the universe moving along the path of life, struggle, and chaos. There are times when our darkest fears, questions, and unknowns come up as we start on the path of spiritual awakening. In reality, these trials that seem hard are an important part of the journey and should not be feared but welcomed. Think of a goldsmith polishing gold as a symbol. The gold has to be heated up very hot before its real beauty can be seen. When we face our darkest fears and doubts, we go through a process of cleansing change. Resistance, which is often seen as a bad thing, is also an important part of our mental growth and power. It's like a seed pushing through the ground instead of giving up, becoming a strong, hardy plant. This fight, this pushback, is an important part of its growth because it makes it stronger and more durable. In the same way, we shouldn't back down when we face pushback. Instead, we should see it as a chance to grow, to become stronger and more resilient. Keep in mind that every moment of resistance and battle brings you closer to awakening and transformation. Rumi, a wise man, once said, "The wound is the place where the light enters you. It's when we're going through deep inner turmoil that we find the best chances to grow and become enlightened." The abyss, time to make a choice. When we get to this point in spiritual awakening, we often feel like we're standing in front of a deep chasm, the unknown, a huge area of mystery that can be scary and disturbing is what it stands for. Here is where we have to make the important choice to let go of old confidence and old ways of thinking and being that don't help us anymore. It's leaving the edge of what you know and diving deep into what you don't know. As we make our way through this strange land, we might start to wonder what's beyond the edges of the world we know. Even though it's scary, the answer is simple. There are endless options. That we choose to accept the unknown is a big deal. It means giving up control, letting go of the safety of confidence, and letting the winds of spiritual growth guide us. Understanding that we are not always in charge of our lives and that life can take us in new and surprising directions is what it means. We let go of old habits and become open to new ideas and experiences that help us grow and become more enlightened when we're in this unknown area. This journey into the unknown often comes with solitude. Instead of seeing it as a state of loneliness, see it as a time of deep self-discovery. The quiet places of silence are where we go deep inside ourselves and find facts about ourselves that were hidden by the noise and distractions of daily life. It is a time to think about ourselves, a time to listen to the thoughts of our minds and find out who we really are. It's not a way to get away from the world. It's a journey into our own inner world, a study of our own inner cosmos. Remember that the labyrinth of the unknown is not a trick for us as we walk through this part of the journey. It is a way for us to grow deeply and become enlightened. Joseph Campbell, a philosopher, said, "It is by going down into the abyss that we recover the treasures of life. Where you stumble, there lies your treasure." The abyss is not something to be afraid of. It is a place to find yourself and start over. Rebirth and being real. Awakening often forces us to face our fears, the parts of ourselves that we have denied, ignored, or pushed down. Carl Jung, a Swiss psychotherapist, said it so well. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. When we face and integrate our shadow, we take a big step forward on our spiritual path, going deep into our secret selves, facing our fears, doubts, and injuries, and accepting them as part of who we are takes a lot of guts. Sometimes this process can be painful or uncomfortable, but we can only truly welcome and shine our inner light when we recognize and accept our darkness. In a spiritual setting, rebirth is about discovering and accepting our true selves, not about getting rid of our old self. A new sense of self that is more true to our core is like a phoenix rising from the ashes. Our new identity isn't based on social rules, standards, or names. It comes from our deepest thoughts, feelings, and wants. Our authenticity is best shown when we live our truth. It means letting our deeds match up with what we really believe and value. We can't say enough about how important this is. Only when we live our truth can we feel like our lives have meaning and purpose. As Shakespeare famously said in Hamlet, "This above all, to thine own self be true." When we do this, we not only open the door to our own enlightenment, but we also encourage others to start their own journey of self-discovery and spiritual awakening. Oneness, or the link. We start to feel linked and realize that we're not separate people, but rather important parts of a huge cosmos fabric once we've accepted our true self and started living our truth. This is the moment of oneness, where you realize that everything is connected and that each thread is important to the whole. Like how different notes work together to make a song, everything in the world, from the tiniest particle to the biggest star, is connected in a complicated web of causes and effects. Realizing this gives us a deep sense of connection and the reassurance that we are never really alone. We are not just watching this dance, we are dancing along with everyone else. The things we do have an effect on and are affected by the world around us. Being aware of how everything is linked leads to accepting togetherness and love that doesn't depend on anything. Our sense of being different starts to fade as we realize that, despite our individual personalities and unique forms, we are really just one. Realizing this makes it easier to change your mood from one of judgment and division to one of acceptance and kindness. We start to love each other no matter what, not because we think we are different, but because we know that deep down we are all expressions of the same global consciousness. This new way of thinking about oneness brings a deep sense of peace and satisfaction. We are no longer lost souls looking for acceptance and recognition. Instead, we are linked beings enjoying life. This is not a spiritual experience for humans. It is a spiritual experience for humans. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, a philosopher, said it so well. In this state of oneness, we find ourselves at home in the universe, with our hearts beating to the beat of creation and our souls dancing to the tune of love and unity in the universe. Coincidences, going with the flow of life. As we start this deep journey of spiritual awakening, we start to notice a lot of signs and important connections that don't seem to be possible by chance. When these perfectly timed coincidences happen, it's like the world is speaking directly to us, letting us know we're on the right path and gently leading each step we take. They can show up as repeating numbers, chance meetings, or images that show up over and over again. Each one has a specific message for us that is uniquely designed to our journey. These synchronicities are not accidents. They are the universe's way of showing its full support and proving beyond a doubt that we are on track with our greater purpose. These things are like soft reminders that we should have faith in the infinite knowledge and good intentions of the universe. As we continue to trust more, we start to flow smoothly and in tune with the ups and downs of life. We calmly give up control and let the vast and infinite world kindly lead us along our way. Learning to trust our gut is another important part of going with the flow in life. My gut is like a map inside of us. It's a natural way to find our way that doesn't depend on logic and is in tune with truth and authenticity. As we develop our intuition, we learn to handle our spiritual journey with ease and certainty, able to pick up on the small signs and words that lead us to our final goal, awakened consciousness. Remember that every coincidence and psychic nudge is a part of the universal symphony of life that wants us to dance to its divine rhythm. Authentic expression, the way to awakened consciousness, requires a firm dedication to truth and the courage to remove the social masks we put on to fit into the world's predetermined roles. These masks often show the different selves we put on to get love, acceptance, and support from other people. But most of the time, they just smother our true essence and make us forget who we are. Imagine living your life the way you want to, without worrying about what other people will think or following the rules. Don't you think that sounds freeing? This is what it means to accept your true self. You have to take off all the masks you're wearing and stand in the beautiful light of your true self. At first, this road of authenticity might seem scary because it requires us to leave our comfort zones and bravely go into the unknown. Doesn't it mean that we can only reach our full potential and enjoy life to the fullest? Finding authenticity is worth a lot more than getting praise from other people. Being honest is the key to building real relationships and living a life with meaning and satisfaction. Not only do we respect our uniqueness by being real, but we also encourage others to do the same. Being authentic brings life to our relationships by adding truth and meaning to them. Heart speaking to hearts, it lets us bond with others on a deep level. Isn't that the kind of relationship we all want? Keep in mind that the world is perfect. There is a reason why you are special, so why not accept it? Why not have a party? Your true self is calling you to step into its greatness, and your soul's true expression should shine brightly. We can only truly blend with the symphony of the universe when we dance smoothly to the beat of our true selves. As we go through the journey of spiritual awakening, we are called to raise our consciousness. This is our chance to rise above the everyday and live life to the best. As we start to grow beyond the average mind, this rise doesn't happen all at once. It happens slowly over time. Normal minds are limited by the things that are in the real world. They see life through a narrow view which includes time, space, and sense experiences. But what if we could get past these limits? What if we could tap into an infinite source of knowledge that's been waiting to be discovered? This is where the better self lives. Finding your better self is like waking up a giant that's been sleeping inside you. It's the part of us that doesn't get affected by life's chaos and gives off peace, knowledge, and love no matter what. Our higher self is like a beacon that always points us in the direction of our true north. It gives us clarity when things are unclear, strength when things go wrong, and a sense of purpose when things seem to be happening by chance. As the level of our consciousness rises, we start to understand reality more deeply. We no longer feel like separate beings going through life on our own. Instead, we realize that we are linked to everything else in the world. Every thought, feeling, and action we have sends waves through the universe, changing and being changed by the big fabric of life. This view of reality as a big linked picture encourages a deep sense of oneness, kindness, and responsibility for everything in the world. The raising of consciousness is not just an idea in philosophy. It is a real experience, a trip that changes how we see ourselves and the world around us. Giving up old, limiting ideas and accepting a new, broader view is what it's all about. This view sees the beauty of our existence and the endless opportunities that life offers. As we move through the journey of spiritual awakening, we are thrown into a new reality where we are not alone, but co-creators with the universe. When you reach this stage, you understand the power of purpose and expression. You may have heard the saying, energy flows where attention goes. This is what manifestation is all about. Thoughts that are driven by purpose have the power to make things happen. We activate the forces necessary to make a particular goal or wish a reality when we concentrate our mental energy on it. Take a moment to think about the Pygmalion effect, which is a psychological effect that says, high hopes make people do better. This result shows how strong trust and hope can be. A self-fulfilling prophecy is created by our ideas and beliefs, which then influences reality. An artist cuts away at a block of stone to show the figure inside. Similarly, our thoughts and plans cut away at the vast field of possibilities, creating our subjective reality. The most important part of co-creation is realizing that we are creative partners with God. This isn't about doing nothing and waiting for God to step in. Instead, it's about doing what we want to do and letting the general flow decide what happens. Like steering a boat, you can't change the wind, but you can change the sails. Similarly, we may not be able to change everything that happens in our lives, but we can change the way they go by making sure that our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are in line with our best goals. Remember that the universe is not a different thing in the universe. It is a mirror of how we feel inside. It reacts to the frequency of our vibrations. Thoughts with a low vibe, like fear and doubt, can slow down the process of creation. Thoughts with a high vibration, like love and thanks, can speed it up. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Albert Einstein once said, "Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can't be any other way." Co-creation is about being aware of this divine dance between intention, action, and surrender, and consciously joining it. Awakening to the truth that we are not passive observers in the world, but active agents who shape our future through our relationship with the divine. We step into our power and use our natural abilities to make our dreams come true and live a life full of meaning, joy, and wealth. Lack of conditions for love and kindness. Pure love is the universe's foundation, the endless source from which everything comes. It is the force that holds the universe together. It's in every atom, every planet, and every part of it. The glue that holds everything together is what makes the dance of life we see around us possible. To spiritually awaken is to connect with this endless source of love that lives inside us. It was said by the great spiritual teacher Nada, "The source of love is deep in us, and we can help others realize a lot of happiness. One word, one action, or one thought can reduce another person's suffering and bring that person joy." As we grow in compassion, forgiveness, and acceptance, we naturally move toward these goals. Being compassionate means being able to feel someone else's pain as our own. This frees us from the illusion that we are different. This verse tells us to love everyone, even those who have hurt us, which helps us forget. When we forgive, we are free from the chains of anger, which makes it easier to heal emotionally. It's a gift we give ourselves that lets us move on without being held back by hurts from the past. The last piece of this spiritual puzzle is acceptance. It means realizing that everyone is on a different path, facing their own problems and learning from them. To reach wisdom, one must accept all of life's parts, including the good and the bad, the happy and the sad. They must know that each event is a step on the way. When we accept what is happening in our lives, we stop fighting it and let ourselves grow and change with ease. When we practice loving, caring, accepting, and forgiving others no matter what, we connect with the greatest energy level. This changes not only our lives but also the world around us. As we come to the end of our study of the steps of spiritual awakening, let us think back on this journey with thanks and humility. Remember that this road is not a race, but a journey to find out more about yourself. Being humble helps us remember that we can always learn and grow. Being grateful, on the other hand, keeps us in the present, so we can enjoy its beauty and see each event as a valuable lesson. Keep in mind that the way to awakened consciousness is not a one-way trip. Your path to waking is different from everyone else's, but you are on the same path. Participate in this material by sharing your thoughts and experiences, asking questions, and learning from others. This will help the group as a whole gain more knowledge. A sage named Ram Dass once said, "We're all just walking each other home." This is your call to begin your spiritual awakening journey. Let's help each other get home with humility and thanks, and learn from each other as we go. Now is a good time to think about what you've learned and how you can use it on your spiritual path. Don't forget that every step you take is a step toward awakened consciousness, no matter how small it is. Do what you can with what you have and where you are. It only takes one step to start the journey of 1,000 miles. Do it right now.